Brecken,
Here.
Moore,
Here.
Shaner,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Waters.
Here. Please stand for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lau? Peggy Lau here? On the way, we'll do Dave Connie first, because I really want to read one about public works and engineers and all that stuff.
And hug.
I think we're recording the meeting, right?
We are.
As always.
Don't forget to hug it out.
That's right.
Just want to make sure it's working.
We have a proclamation that reads, "This month our community celebrates the," not this one. We have, whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital of importance to the sustainability and resilient communities, and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Sioux City. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public work professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. Whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens of Sioux City, Iowa, to gain knowledge and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. Whereas the year 2021 marks the 61st annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore, I, Robert E. Scott, Mayor of the City of Sioux City, on behalf of City Council, do hereby proclaim May 16th to 22nd, 2021 as National Public Works Week. And I urge all our citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies and activities, events and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public work professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Go ahead and say a few words if you would like.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that we're having a public proclamation for Public Works Week. Our Public Works Department doesn't only include Public Works, but Parks and Rec, and our utilities departments, which our guys work hard all the time. People don't see them out there when it's the middle of the night, they get a water main break, or when they're out there in the snowstorm pushing the snow, and the city moves on public works. So I appreciate that we have this proclamation and we recognize our employees, especially the guys that are out there 24/7. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
We have a proclamation that reads, "This month our community celebrates the history and achievements of the Asian Pacific Islander communities. And whereas Asian and Pacific Islanders make our city more vibrant through diversity of cultures, languages, and religions. And whereas we honor the history of invaluable contributions of the Asian and Pacific Islanders communities. Whereas despite hard-won achievements, Asian and Pacific Islanders continue to face obstacles to realizing their full potential. And whereas throughout our nation we've seen staggering rise in harassment and violence against the Asian and Pacific Islander communities during the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas the City of Sioux City stands with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities in condemning and preventing acts of violence and discrimination, we commit to ensuring opportunities exist for generations to come. Now, therefore, I, Robert E. Scott, Mayor of the City of Sioux City, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month and encourage all community members to observe, recognize, and celebrate the culture, heritage, and contributions of Asian Pacific Islanders." I'd like to present that to you. Say a few words if you would like.
There you go.
Thank you. This is an honor for the Asian Pacific Islander Committee. As part of the Asian Fest co-founders, we would like everyone to come out on June 19th on Saturday, and we will do as much as we can to collaborate our Siouxland community for this as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
held loose for you that whole time.
And Peggy, I did just want to take a second and just really thank you and all of your efforts. I think as a community member, you go above and beyond, and I'm just so thankful to have you in this community. Whether it's Asian Fest, the memorial that you put on, expanding your business, Yummy Blocks, doing all types of things. I mean, you really go, even serving on our boards and commissions. So I thank you very much for all that you do in this community, and I'm glad we could do this. No doubt.
Thank you. Art Center Board of Trustees, Richard Brown Jr., come on up and tell us why you want to serve and what great things you'll get done if you were chosen.
Good afternoon. I first want to thank the council for the invitation to interview. I have been involved with the Art Center since approximately the year 2000. So over the 21 years since then, I've been involved both as a member of the Art Center as well as have served four terms on the Art Center Association and have been president of the association. I was asked by a trustee if I would apply for the position. I really love the arts. I have been involved with the arts, and I have especially really wanted to promote the arts here in the community here in Sioux City, Iowa. Over the last several years, our Arts Center has developed some, I think, quite astounding exhibits comparable to large city museums, including the Da Vinci exhibit, the Pollock, et cetera. And I truly believe that our Art Center here in Sioux City can become a real cultural draw to our town, that it can become a destination for people to come here. And I know people have traveled here just to see certain exhibits, and I really would like to see those exhibits expand over time. The building of the Gilchrist Educational Center has been a real asset here, and it provides an opportunity for our community to get more involved with the Sioux Center, more on a learning level, as well as just a partaking level of coming in and seeing art. Recently, with our last fundraiser especially, it's become very clear that helping our community grow and become more educated about the arts and recognize that the arts are more than the piece on the wall or a piece on a stand, that the arts are all around us, and art is all around us. And we begin to participate in understanding art by participating in life. And the taste, the feel, the smells, all around us are things that influence our arts. And helping spread that to the community more, I think, is really one big purpose that the Arts Center really wants to take on. We've got new director there, new curator there. I believe there is a large amount of energy there at the Arts Center. I would like to be a part of that. I believe that I certainly have an ability for objectivity and an ability to bring different views to the Arts Center, add to the diversity of that board as well. Therefore, I would certainly be humbly willing to be a member of that Arts Center trustees.
Thank you, very well done. Any questions?
Yeah, good remarks, Dr. Brown, and thank you for making the application.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, we'll let you know. Tanny Russell, same thing. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
Hello, my name is Tani Russell. I am a lifelong resident of Sioux City. I'm a member of the Santee Sioux Tribe of Nebraska, and I'm a recent graduate of Morningside with a BA in Studio Art and Religious Studies. I am an artist and a member of the Siouxland Art Association. I've been active with Siouxland for quite some time. Gail Ament recommended that I apply, and so I'm grateful that you have accepted my application.
Excellent.
So you both are members of the association, or have been, huh?
I'm the Siouxland Art Association. I'm an artist.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I'm an artist.
Yep, yep, okay, good.
Thanks for making the application.
Yeah, appreciate you applying.
Thank you.
No doubt. Thank you.
Thank you. Yamanashi Sister City, Andrew Velasic.
Hello.
Hi.
Go ahead, tell us why you want to serve.
I recently submitted to the innovation market with Conjuland, and I'm not sure about that. I left before to see. I read the comments, but I'm still wanting to do that, and I think it's just awesome that I was surprised to see nobody was on there, and so I have the obvious enthusiasm for it, and being shocked that nobody was on it. And I mean, that's a beautiful city right at the bottom of Mount Fuji, and I just thrilled and delighted, and that's it. I'm excited to put the work into it and have a big vision about it.
Good.
Perfect.
Questions?
Thanks for making the application.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your involvement. That's good.
Thank you all.
All right. We're going to go on to the agenda then. We'll let you know, buddy. Today, the consent agenda is items 3 through 13E. Consider them to pass unanimously. If you want to speak on an item, please come up, state your name and address as I read that item. If you want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is a reading of the City Council minutes of May 10, 2021. 4 is a resolution amending resolution number 2011-0069 by reducing the number of the effective fiscal and public policy committee from 11 to 7. 5 is a resolution authorizing submission of the older adults home modification grant application.
Mayor, I have a question for Jill on this. A couple of questions and comments. Hi, Jill. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this.
Oh, yeah.
Have we had this previously, this grant opportunity? And if we did, how much was involved then? Because this grant, if it's given or awarded, it's about $1.1 million, and it could serve 125 homes for those that are 62 years of age and older. And I think that's a great program to have because it goes toward the safety of those individuals in their homes and could possibly keep them in their homes for a longer period of time. So have we been doing this for a number of years?
Jill Wanderscheid, Neighborhood Services Manager. This is a completely new HUD program, so they just unveiled it. This is the first time they've had an application process open, so we thought it would be a good fit for our community and decided to apply, or request to apply.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. I hope the Seniors Advisory Committee has been aware of this. I think they have been. But thank you for making that application. How soon will you know if the money's being awarded to
We're
Sioux
not
City?
sure since it is so new. I think that they're hoping that if awarded, you would start sometime in September, so probably sometime this summer we'll find out.
Okay, great. Another great program for us.
Can
Thank you,
give
Jill.
some examples of what the money could be used for then?
Sure. So this program is for smaller type projects. So something like grab bars in a bathroom, or fixing a trip hazard in a kitchen, or handrails down front steps, things of a smaller nature.
A little ramp or something to get rid of the stairs,
small
things
ramp,
like
yeah,
that.
just to make sure people can stay in their homes and age in place safely.
Do we have a ramp program still?
We still do, yes. And that program is for probably a little bit bigger items. We do bathroom modifications through that program, moving laundry facilities to the main floor, things like that. But this program would be something a little bit different for us because the projects would be a little bit smaller, and hopefully we'd be able to partner it with some of our other programs to have a more comprehensive approach too.
Not to put you on the spot, but for example, is there a range as to how much each participant could be awarded?
So this program, HUD has put a maximum of $5,000 from this specific program, but we're hoping that we would be able to partner it with some of our other programs we already have in place to do some
Right,
larger
that would be
projects.
a great company, something else to
Absolutely.
maybe finish out and details, right, on a larger project. Say this
Yes.
much for handrail and this much for shower or whatever it could be.
Absolutely.
This is great news. Thank you so much.
And the Senior Advisory Committee, we did present, our staff presented, I think, the last meeting, and they wrote a letter of support, so hopefully that will help as well.
You know,
Hopefully we get it.
anytime you can improve the general safety of our seniors in this community, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It really is. So thank you, Jill.
Thank
And
you.
Jill, if we do get awarded or if that goes through, just make sure to work with Ann's office as much as possible, I think,
Absolutely.
promotion of that stuff.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Mayor.
you.
Mr. Padmore, do you have something for good of the order that I forgot to do right away? Sorry.
I'd like to invite Jeff Hansen up. He'd like to introduce an intern that we've have from the University of South Dakota who's going to be working with the planning department this summer.
Good afternoon, Jeff Hansen, Community Development Operations Manager. Today is the first day for our intern from the USD, and he's been assigned to one of our housing projects within the planning division, and Ryan Forrester is actually taking the lead on that project, and so Ryan will be working very closely with Aaron, and so I'll have Ryan say a few words, and then Aaron will introduce himself. So, thank you.
So the project is looking at 3 census tracts over 2,500 parcels, and we're going to assess the housing inventory in Sioux City, and it's just adjacent to downtown, Census Tract 12, 13, and 15. So we're going to be looking at those 3, assessing the housing inventory, and using that to hopefully come with some policies in the near future to City Council. And our intern has graciously decided to help us collect that data, going door to door and assessing each property. Aaron Glassman, wanted to come up and say a few things.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Like Ryan said, I'm Aaron Glassman, so I'm currently a junior, about to be a senior at the University of South Dakota. And as someone who studies political science, has career interest in public policy, and really wants a life devoted to public service, I'm really gracious that I can have this type of internship to do 2 things: not only just get valuable experience and what real policy and real analysis is like on the ground talking to folks, but also to benefit the people of Sioux City. While I am from South Dakota, I've done a lot of work in Sioux City. I did campaigns and things before, and I'm glad that this was my first day and that we're working on such an important project. My feet do hurt a little bit. We hit 100 houses today. I wore my dress shoes. I forgot the tennis shoes, so a lesson learned. But thank you all for letting me come before you, and I'm really excited to bring our work towards you all and get a better housing and economic development here in Sioux City. Thank you.
Where are you from in South Dakota?
Watertown originally.
Watertown.
Yep, up north.
Wabe, fishing up there?
Yeah, very close. Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to the community.
Yeah,
Yes, thank
no
you
doubt.
very
Thanks
much.
for your work.
Good luck.
Thanks, everybody.
6 is a resolution adding an additional utility director position. 7 are actions relating to street closures. A is a resolution temporary closing various streets in the Morningside area, May 20th through the 23rd for Morningside Day Carnival and Parade. B is a resolution temporarily closing various streets in the Leeds area on June 13th for the Leeds Community Days Dance and Car Show. C is a resolution temporarily closing various streets in the Leeds area for June 11th for the Leeds Community Days Parade. D is a resolution temporarily closing the alley between 5th and Iowa Streets on May 28th for the Firehouse Bar fundraiser for West Floyd. E is a resolution temporarily closing various streets in the downtown area July 10th and 16th and August 14th and 28th for the Hard Rock Battery Park Concert Series. 8 are actions relating to bonds. A is a resolution approving a loan and disbursement agreement with the Iowa Finance Authority and authorizing the issuance of taxable sewer revenue capital loan notes. B are general obligation bonds. Do we need to say anything more, or does that suffice?
I believe there's some people from finance, if you'd like them to summarize the bond.
Well, I see it, but I just want the public to hear it. I think that would be wise.
Good news.
Aye.
I think I would hope at 1.1 it's good news. I don't know how you can get much lower than that, so. Must be how wonderful we treat the taxpayers' money.
Teresa Fitch, Finance Director. We did just send you a memo. You should see a memo, but today we did do our bond sales. The interest rates were at 1.28% and 1.11%. So they both were very, very favorable. So we did refund some bonds also, and we had a savings of just roughly about $500,000 by refunding those bonds to lower the interest rate. So.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Great
Any
job.
additional questions?
Nope.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
So item B1 to 4 are resolution directing the sale of general obligations bond. 9 are actions relating to the agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with CMBA Architects for the Fire Rescue Station 8 addition project. B is a resolution approving a contract to Plains Mechanical Services for the library boiler replacement project. I think I need to abstain on that, please. C is a resolution approving a contract to Mark Albanesius for the Lemon Court Storm Sewer Manhole Project. D is a resolution approving an amendment to the Financial Advisory Services Agreement with Piper Sandler and Company. You know, back when I was here before, we had the same group do this over and over again, and we pretend like we bid it. Once they get in on this deal, are they in forever, Bob, or do you ever really look for another service?
No, we used to contract with a company called PFM. I think we've been with Piper 4 or 5 years now, but we did bid it out.
But isn't this you didn't bid it out this time?
No. Kelly Hill, City Treasurer. This is just for performa measures that we need for SRF.
Yeah, I know.
It's a new requirement. And so Piper is doing this service for us.
I know, but it's also an extension of their existing contract for a year, right?
No, this is just adding to their contract. Their contract will still expire in 2 years, and we will rebid it then.
Okay. E is a resolution authorizing the release of a loan agreement in indenture of trust regarding the industrial development revenue bonds. F, a resolution approving an acknowledgement of an assignment of a development agreement with Great Southern Bank and Urbane 1220. 10 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing payment to H&R Construction for the Lewis and Clark Park Ticket Office Replacement Project. B is a resolution approving a settlement of a tort claim and authorizing payment. C is a resolution accepting the work of Knife River Midwest for the Morningside Avenue Reconstruction Project. I should have asked this question and I didn't. I'm sorry. How many days of liquidated damages did this project have?
Gordon Ferris, City Engineer. Yes, there are some liquidated damages to that project. And
I know there should be. That went way over. How many days, do you know?
Oh, the number of days, I don't have that in front of me, but it was about 200.
It didn't show up in what I read, but maybe it's there and I can't see it, but.
I can get that to you, along with the number of days.
All right. 11 is purchasing, resolution awarding a purchase order. Stay right there because I'm going to ask you another question. To CAP for asphalt and concrete products. What's the difference between this and the asphalt millings that we keep? It's the same product, isn't it, basically? And so what did those contractors allow us when we did that? I just want to compare that.
Well, what we, they are going to allow us 7. But it was because we already were getting 1,700 off that other job, that's why we let that one go. Because we don't think we're going to need to buy it off, but we get a price from RAP.
You don't think you're going to buy any?
No, because we think the 1,700 we're getting off of the
Okay, I hope you're right, because we gambled and lost $3 if that's the case.
If we did, we gambled and lost $3, yeah.
I'd like to make sure that you tell me what happens at the end of the year. Items 11B, 1 and 2 are resolutions awarding purchase order to Jensen Motors for 2 Ford F-150s. 12 are application for beer and liquor license. See the list come forward. 13, receipt of minutes. See the list come forward. Anyone to be heard on any of those items? Passes 5-0. 14 is an ordinance amending various chapters of the municipal code under Title 25 zoning and sign. P&Z recommends approval. First consideration approved May 10th. I'll move second reading.
Second.
Anyone to be heard?
Chris Madsen, planner. Per the council direction, we did reach out to the Mayor's Youth Commission prior to coming back with second and third reading. So we did sit down with Mary Coaster this morning about the alcohol or off-premise alcohol sales changes, and they were generally in favor of our requested changes.
Okay, thanks for your follow-up, Chris.
Passes 5-0. Anybody opposed waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move it.
Moore,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Gretkin.
Aye.
I'll move third reading.
Second.
Here we go. Sorry about that.
Worries.
Passes 5-0. 15 is a hearing and resolution approving plans, and did you want to speak on that? Is a hearing and resolution approving plans and
Jumping the
inspect
gun?
the entrance sign project. Somebody else will have to move that one.
So moved.
For second?
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone want to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed.
No, not yet, Gene.
No, it's on a sign deal.
Just a different item.
Hearing is now closed. Passes 4-1. Bob Scott, the bad person he is, voted no. 16 are ordinances amending Chapter 10.98 of Municipal Code to adopt a new traffic schedule. So I'll move that.
Second. You know, actually, on agenda item 14, Mayor, we've all received some comments after your comments on the sign, on 15, I mean, I'm sorry, on agenda item 15. So, I mean, you raised good points that were raised initially when we talked about the sign, so I'm curious as to what they'll come back with and whether it is going to block the monument and whether it is going to be something that we all desire to have. So this is just for the plans and specs, correct? Yeah.
Passes 5-0. Anybody opposed waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move it.
Second.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Gretkin.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
I'll move second and third.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Spectra Venue Management, Tyson Event Center, Orpheum Theater update.
Now you're good, man.
Sorry, he was looking at me. I lost my spot there for a minute. I didn't know if I was ready or not.
Well, it happens when you wake up after you kind of doze off.
I know, I
for a
just
minute.
had breakfast. My name's Tim Simone. I'm the general manager for Spectra Venue Management at the Tyson Event Center and Orpheum Theater. I just wanted to use this opportunity to give a quick update here on where we are. We try to do this every quarter. So last one was summarizing the first 6 months, ending December 30th. So this one will get us through March 30th and a little bit from there. But real quick through the packet here, I try to provide some information for you. Really, we're really proud of how we've stayed aggressive through all these challenging times the last few months. We're in a position now where we've generated a little bit over $60,000 in revenues, and that's net revenue. That's not a gross number. Just from our proactive efforts to create, we've had some cool highlights. The Zamboni experience was really well received. It sold out. We had some attendees from all over the place come to that. Somebody actually flew in from Wisconsin, so definitely something we didn't expect, but it was positive. Just this last weekend, our most recent one, we had another trunk sale. Those have been really popular. It's basically a garage sale out of your car, give people a platform to come out and common use area and make some dollars, get rid of some of their stuff. And then we have a nonprofit there on site that takes anything people don't want to take home with them, they can load up. So it's a nice community effort there. So far, year to date, all events combined of what we've hosted, and to be fair, this includes like a lot of the ice rentals and stuff, ways we found unique ice rental opportunities. We've hosted over 100 events year to date through the pandemic, so certainly positive. A lot of places are in a much worse situation. And something we're really proud of, we feel like we've maintained a positive image throughout all this. You know, we've used it to enhance community relationships, enhance relationships with our tenants, find unique ways to work together with the community, and really be an asset for the community. Really got to give a shout out here to our staff. I mean, I know everybody works hard right now, but we are shorthanded and have gone through some really trying times the last few weeks, and our people have provided tremendous customer service through all this. It's hard to not, you know, get grouchy here and there, but our people really have held it together. They've done a fabulous job, and we're grateful for them. A couple quick highlights. We're hosting PBR this weekend for the first time ever, so exciting opportunity there. NAI events went off great, you know, had a lot of extraordinary challenges around COVID-19. Our planning and guide of procedures that we submitted to them, which was part of a standard for our company that we'd worked on from the get-go, was actually used as the standard for the NAIA. They used our templates and pushed them upon their other championship tournaments around the country. So really a testament to, you know, to our tournament committee and our staff for those efforts. And then, you know, we've just been knocking walls down, staying influential with new ways to work together with businesses, you know, bringing some businesses together for community events at the Expo Center and through the CVB and things of that sort. So certainly some positive things have come out of these challenging times. A quick shot at the financials. After the third quarter, we're actually ahead of pace right now from our budget. It won't maintain, however. We have some big revenue-producing events that aren't happening in the fourth quarter that are in the budget. So we'll fall backwards on that. But the good news is we're projecting a worst-case shortfall of $200,000 now against our budget, whereas last time...
Explain that, 200,000 more loss than was budgeted?
Correct. Yes, 200 more loss than was budgeted. The last update was $400,000. So we've continued to chip away at that. We think we're confident that 200 will be as bad as it gets, and we're continuing to push to try to hit the number. Obviously, we've made a lot of changes to our business to accomplish that. At this point, all of our COVID-related stuff is pretty much wrapped. We've settled all that with our various partners and clients, and we're in a good spot going forward. So as long as we maintain the course collectively as a community and as a nation, I think we're on a good path there. We are hopeful that the financials will maintain. We think we got a shot here to still finish off the bottom line financials better than they were prior to us starting. So again, under the circumstances, I think that's a positive victory. Last thing here, future outlook. We've had some events here lately. We've had NAIAs go off. We've had hockey finish off a great season, had a great playoff game. Football's been going well. Graduations are back in the buildings. Dance groups are back at the Orpheum. PBR this weekend. Just announced our first concert, mainstream concert for the Tyson today. It's a Sublime with Dirty Heads coming in October. We have 4 more concerts pending. We feel hopeful that we'll get at least 2 of them, if not all 4 of them, and those are all between like August and October. So very, very good momentum going forward. The Orpheum shows are just, they're rolling like crazy. I think we're going to do about 20 shows at the Orpheum this fall with Broadway and Symphony on top of that. We're hopeful that we're going to do a Broadway announcement on June 2nd, so we're standing by waiting to get approval on those measures. But things are growing, things are going forward in a good way. We've enhanced some relationships with promoters. They've done a lot of theater stuff. Now they're doing some arena shows with us, or we're trying to do arena shows. We have offers in, you know, we're trying to win those battles. So a lot of growth coming from there. You know, the bottom line is people are ready to get back to events. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in a big way. Our ticket sales, when we put shows on sale, primarily in the fall and these Orpheum events we've put up, they're selling very well. Compared to past history, they're selling ahead of all those paces, which is certainly a good sign of things to come, we feel. Great response to these announcements, busy traffic at the box office. You know, at the end of the day, it's been a year like nothing we've seen before. But collectively, you know, ourselves and our community, we feel we've stepped up, and we look forward to a resume to normal. If you have any questions about where we're at now or where we're going, I'd be happy to take them. But thank you all for your continued support through these challenging times. We're doing everything we can.
For all your work.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I would just thank you guys very much. I mean, I've tried to stop down at different events, you know, check out the protocols and how you're keeping our community safe. while still managing to host events and things like that. And I think your crew does an exceptional job. I would echo a shout out to them, especially doing so short-staffed. You know, I think that that's in the entertainment industry. I mean, I've talked with you about this. I've talked with Enzo about it, that a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had to be furloughed and let go, and you guys persevered. The people that we were able to retain, I think, were extraordinarily proactive and aggressive. I think it shows in some of the events and the revenue that you were able to generate just by ideas that were driven to try to get people out safely, active, doing things in the community. And I would say kudos to you surrounding yourself with a creative staff that at least thinks proactively and optimistically, because even sometimes I get a little beat down or, you know, nervous and upset about things. And you guys always have an optimistic outlook and are making sure to continue trying to provide a quality service to our community. And so I really would thank you and thank your staff, and you're being aggressive towards the fall. I mean, I think that we have a great lineup, and especially, I mean, gosh, I was talking about the Price is Right and a couple of the other things that seem to be happening way in the fall that I'm like, I better get my tickets or they're going to be sold out apparently. So I think people are getting ready to get back to that sense of normalcy now that we have some vaccines rolling. So I appreciate your efforts very much so.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for the support.
Thanks, Tim.
Citizen concerns. Any citizens want to be heard, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
My name is Gene Boykin, Geneboykin. Address is 608 South Cornelia Street. I'm pretty familiar with everybody up here and like to talk, I guess. So you guys occasionally listen, so I appreciate that. I'm here today because I just started a real estate investing company, and we were looking at some red tag houses, and there's a house in Morningside that we're purchasing. I have it under contract. We're going to buy it, and already have a buyer here in town. So I went to the placarded houses hearing January 21st because that house was set for demolition, and the demolition got approved. However, I think I spoke with, it might have been Mr. Moore at the meeting because we plan on rehabbing that house. And I called and spoke with Daryl Bullock at the inspections department to let him know that we were going to be rehabbing that house. We just had to untie this knot of a situation that what we do. I mean, we deal with the transactions that most people can't handle. Okay, so what's going on here is I have the homeowners here with me. They're both deaf. Okay, so they don't have anybody to represent them. They live on a fixed income and worked hard enough to have their residence, and then they had an investment property for some passive income and retirement. Unfortunately, they bumped into some people that weren't really good people and fleeced a realtor out of $10,000 and got a $10,000 lien put on their house. So luckily, we happened to bump into each other, and I'm a good person, they're good people, so I knew I had a solution to the problem. And right now, they're looking at another $10,000 lien because I called the inspections department yesterday because there was a delay in what we had to do. I had to file a forfeiture proceeding against the contract buyer that they were selling it to. So we couldn't do any work until that forfeiture proceeding was done. Right when we filed that forfeiture proceeding, the contract buyer filed for bankruptcy. So we had to halt everything. But I called Daryl Bullock in inspections and let him know this, that there was just a delay. We still planned on doing all this stuff. And he said that was okay. So the bankruptcy discharged Friday, and I called them to let them know we were going to start work on the house. And I didn't speak with anybody but the secretary, and she told me that they were taking bids for the demolition on this property, and to call them before I came out of my pocket with any money. So to me, that was an unsatisfactory answer, because there's a housing shortage in our community right now, one thing. The house is in Morningside, beautiful neighborhood. But most of all, if the city chooses to spend $10,000 to demolish that house, there's gonna be a $10,000 lien on these people's private residence. So when they go to sell that house, they won't be able to sell it until they pay that $10,000 lien. Or if they pass away, there's gonna be that lien on the property, and you know what happens after that. So that's the most unfortunate part about it all, when we have a solution to it, okay? I also brought my buyer here, Scott Dwyer. He's been a contractor here in Sioux City for 40 years, been in business for 40 years. So he's not some fly-by-night contractor.
Gene,
I'm past my 3 minutes, right?
you're way past, so just
Right.
tell us what the solution is.
I want you guys
I'm a solution
I
guy.
don't want you guys to go into contract for a demolition for their house because we have somebody with a note from the bank for $30,000 of credit that will put up that $10,000 bond.
Well,
so
then let's
that
get
you guys
let's
don't
get
have
it
to
up.
demolish it.
We
need
probably
to
haven't
stop that.
awarded it yet.
No. Gene, if you want to come over and talk to me, I'll get information, we'll get it resolved tomorrow morning.
Perfect. Thank you. I knew I could count on you guys. I knew it. That's why I came.
Come on,
Just
man.
get to the point. We'll
We
get her-
try to do some stuff.
Yeah, you do.
All right.
You do. I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
All right. Who else wants to be heard? Anyone else?
Come on up.
Microphone, name and address, please.
My name's Miranda Kazos. My address is 652 Blue Stem.
Pull the mic down a little bit if you can, please.
Sorry, I'm really
Thank you.
short. 652 Blue Stem, that's in Dakota Dunes.
Okay?
So animal control and animals in general has always been a really big issue for me. So I was kind of excited when a new bid had come up, and it prompted me to watch the May 10th council meeting. And it was my opinion from watching that the review process for the RFP was pretty unfair and tilted naturally in the incumbent's favor. I don't think that anybody really got to see the second bid. And because I felt that the process was not fair and didn't really take anything into consideration besides experience of the incumbent, it prompted me to start a petition which has received 200 signatures in only 5 days. They are all Siouxland residents. And I get that stories are anecdotal and you can't make policy decisions on somebody's bad experience or, because somebody likes a particular bidder. But if I were to code all of the reasons that people decided to sign that petition, they fall into 3 categories. People that have had really great experiences with Amanda, I think she's the person for the job. People that have had really negative experiences with Cindy, the status quo, the conditions of the facility, et cetera. But more importantly, the biggest reason people signed is because they also didn't feel that the process was fair. And I understand that animals might not be everybody's passion. It might be emergency services, schools, bridges, you name it. And I think that regardless of what the issue is, I think that everybody is more kind, fair, and eager to participate in a system where the RFP process is fair and not just tilted in the favor of the person currently holding a contract. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Miranda, I would just have one question, if I can ask you a question. Sure. My only question would just be, do you have a specific component that you think was unfair?
I think it's unfair because everybody knew pretty much going into it that they were going to go with Hannah or Cindy Rarrett. I think that the scoring system was specifically unfair because they were given points of an experience only because she has held that role before. And so it all had to do with how long she's been there, not actual deliverables. And I don't know how many of you have ever been to the facility, what you guys know about the facility, but there are a lot of concerns. And, everybody went to school probably with somebody that was a 5th-year senior and graduated late. Their time in high school did not mean they were a good student. Just because she's been there doesn't mean she's done a good job. I did not think it was fair that I believe it was Officer Groves didn't even know if she had had a bond. That tells me he didn't read enough into it. And I don't think it's fair that he stated that, well, this is going to, Cindy's was going to be $64,000 over 5 years more than Amanda's proposal. He seemed to think that that's peanuts, but if we always just went with the incumbent, even if it was tens of thousands of dollars more, you guys have to decide on contracts every single day. If you did that every time, we're talking millions and millions of dollars. And if you guys always, if you guys do this with the incumbent every single time, you won't get good, new, fresh perspectives and competitive bids, which ultimately leads to better facilities on whatever it is they're bidding for. And, Cindy's probably set to retire in 5 years, I would guess. when this is up, who's going to bid then? And if the conditions are still bad, it's going to be a lot more than $64,000 because whomever decides to come in and bid then, they're going to probably bid a lot more because they're going to inherit a huge mess.
That's fine. I just wondered if you had specific examples. I mean, I talked to the city manager about the process, and it seemed very transparent and fair to me. So I just didn't know if you had specifics where we shouldn't take into account.
I think that everybody should read the entire bid. I think that community input's really important, and I would highly encourage everybody to go there. You know, one of the things Officer Gruff said, well, we've never had a problem. Well, the police department isn't the body that you go to complain about animal, you don't call the police when you have a bad animal control issue. And there have been issues. I also recommend that everybody listens to Cindy Rarrett's 2019 deposition involving the Callie Meyer case, where a dog got taken and not returned under really suspicious circumstances. I think there was a lawsuit involved there. That cost the city money. And again, to say there isn't problems, who is the governing body that you complain about animal control to? It's essentially self-governing. So do we ask Cindy Rarrett or animal control? Like, who do we ask? So I recommend that everybody look at all the details and see what they think is humane and fair and balance it all out that way versus Cindy's done this for 30 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else be heard? Seeing none, Mr. Gretkin.
None, thank you.
Gainer.
None today, sir.
Mr. Waters.
One thing.
We were doing so good.
Huh?
We were doing so good.
I know, I tell you what.
I knew you had to come through for me.
No, one thing that I just wanted to bring up, and I was going to speak with Mr. Carney about this later, but I just wanted to have everyone thinking about it, perhaps driving by there. I was contacted by a representative from Mercy Medical Center, was just talking about their ER and people's ability to be able to park there to access those services. They had to utilize some of the parking for the helipad to be able to use that because it was easier to transfer patients then straight into the emergency department. Therefore, they lost some of that parking. And so they were asking about on-street options to be able to really make it better, whether we could bag those meters or make those meters specific for people that are going into their emergency department because they were having some issues. So I'll probably speak with you, Mr. Carney, about that. Yeah, I figured as much. No, and they said they would communicate with you. They just wondered if we could try as a council or give staff direction, because I understand staff's direction is, no, those are meters for a reason and need to keep them open possibly, but.
Exactly what location, Alex?
So it's right there.
6th Street or Jones Street?
6th Street, right across the street from the emergency department, is my understanding, right, Dave? Yep, and
You want the
so.
whole block?
Huh?
Do they want the whole block?
I think just the ones directly across from the emergency
The
department.
question really became enforceability because
Right.
we'd have no idea if the person was in the emergency.
Actually using it or not.
Yeah, so anyone pull up and park there, we would not have any way to track if they were actually in the emergency room or not.
They need to do what St. Luke's does, and that's have valet parking.
They used to.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to drive by there and give any feedback, I'm going to circle back with that individual that reached
Valet
out to me.
parking. That's simple.
Okay.
I mean, otherwise you can't enforce it. Anybody can go park there.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Gretkin and I attended the Sioux City Police Department's awards and promotional ceremony and celebration last week, above and beyond. It was very well done, and it was a great ceremony. Secondly, after a year off, I'm looking forward to the Morningside Days Parade on Thursday. I hope we have a good turnout and everyone stays safe during the.
You'll be out walking, handing out candy.
I'll be walking, handing out candy, probably before we get to the end of the parade.
You got to pace yourself.
You want me to pace myself? I'll work on it, Mayor.
Limit.
I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Scott?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.